What's up guys? Today we're going to check out Gran Turismo on 4K Blu-ray. I'm not here to talk about how good or bad the movie is, I'm just going to share some of my thoughts on the audio and video quality. Now let's go over a few tech specs. The movie was shot in 4, 5, and 8K. It's got a 4K DI. It's rated PG-13. Runtime is 134 minutes. Aspect ratio is 185:1, and the audio is in Dolby Atmos. Before we take a look at the audio and see how active this mix is, if you don't know what the Atmos viewer is, you can find a link down below in this video's description that tells you all about it, what it does, and where to get it. You can also find a list of all the gear that I use for these reviews down there as well. Now this is a Sony mix about race cars, so you know the mix is going to be a good one. And it is. Right in the opening, we can hear the insects in the background, the anisects start up the engine, and then race around the lower channels. And you can see that this is a dynamic mix, which also scales to all 18 of my speakers. So it's not locked in an 11-channel configuration. At 47 minutes 34 seconds in, there's more action on the track with proper sound movement as the cars move from front stage, then go stage left until they vanish to the back of the room. There's a couple of chopper flyovers that you'll hear in the overhead speakers, and during the car crashes, the audio places you inside the car's cockpit with debris and cars passing by you in all directions. Now, not every car race has a ton of overhead effects, since the cars are mostly moving throughout the lower channels. But when the music does kick in, you'll often hear it spread to the top speakers. The bass, as you can imagine, sounds deep and resonant, especially when the cars race past each other and past the camera, and the music tracks bump pretty hard too. So there's plenty of action for your subwoofers, and the dialogue always remained easy to hear even during all the chaotic moments. I'd like to send a thank you to all my Patreon supporters for making it possible for me to purchase Gran Turismo on 4K Blu-ray. So thanks guys for supporting the channel and for the community engagement. Links can be found in this video's description if you want to join Patreon or if you want to pick up this movie. As for video quality, Sony always, well usually, delivers the good on their 4K transfers. This one was shot in 4, 5, and 8K, and it shows it. It's a 4K crispy transfer with tons of fine digitally rendered details from start to finish. If you want to count strands of hair, facial stubble, cotton threads on jackets, it's all there in 4K goodness. The CG effects all looked equally as detailed and blended in perfectly with the live action elements. I even thought this would probably look really cool in 3D when they took that game setup rig at the arcade and transitioned it into a real car. But sadly, it's only in 2D. As for the HDR, it's got a max CLL of 1066 and a max FALL of 295. As for the overall picture brightness, I did think it was on the dimmer side of things. It's a lot like Free Guy than Aquaman 1 as far as image brightness, so it's not a bright and vibrant transfer. The color palette is natural with some nice saturation, and the specular highlights have decent pop, but not enough to make you go out and grab your sunglasses. And the black levels were deep without crushing any detail. It's an overall pleasant use of HDR that I don't think is going to blow you away for brightness or for color saturation. It's still super detailed and it has a digitally clean look, so if you are a grain hater, you're probably, well, most likely going to love the way this movie looks. I'm going to go 8.8 for video. For audio, this is a great sounding Atmos mix with very active height channel activity, and the sound mix always tracked the action that was happening on screen. The bass hits hard and goes deep, and as a whole, I thought it was a very fun mix. I'm going to go 9.1 for the Atmos audio. So what are your thoughts on the Gran Turismo 4K transfer, and how did you like the Atmos mix? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Now if you do want to grab this movie, I'll leave some links down below in this video's description. As always guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us on social media, and if you want to support the channel and get exclusive content or great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by our Patreon page. Be sure to like this video if you found it useful, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you again in the next video.